We can change the world. Na 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 na. We can change the world.
I would like to see a cleaner earth for my child that I'm bringing into the world very soon.
I think it's time for change. I want a better future for my children.
I would like our environment to be safe.
Necesitamos respetar nuestro planeta.
Este es nuestro América. Mi América. Tu América. This is our America.
Tu América.
My America.
Tu América.
Your America.
La América de nosotros.
Oh, Obama, 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 Obama. Yeah, yeah.
Someone to actually make a difference in my generation.
Obama, 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 Obama. Yeah.
I would like to see us in a world without fear.
Basically, I just want the war to end. I would like the rest of the world to think highly of our amazing country. I think the thing that inspires me most about Barack Obama is that he really is going to be the president of the United States. You know, he's not going to be the president of the top 10% or the president of the most powerful corporations or the president of the most powerful lobbyists. He's going to be our president. He's going to speak for us because we put him there.
Obama. That's what Obama's about. Unity to this country and changing America's face to the world.
Obama, Obama,
representa cambio y representa esperanza.
Obama.
But for me, you know, the reason for my passion for this campaign, even though Obama wasn't my first choice, when he gets elected, he is going to be an historic president of the sort that we've only seen, not just as a president, but this election is going to be a historic election. We've only seen two of these in the last century. There were the elections of 32 and 36, where first Roosevelt was elected, and then Congress called.
We are the ones we've been waiting.
Lift your hands and say,
This is your chance to be the
we can change the world.
We are the ones we've been waiting. We are the ones we've been waiting.
Hi, I'm Carl Wood, and some of you know me already because I'm also a Democratic candidate for State Assembly. Thanks for the applause, but this is an Obama meeting. I approached this election probably with quite a bit of skepticism, and one of the reasons for it is, like Jeremy, I worked in my first presidential campaign when I was 16 years old in 1964, and I remember going down to the county courthouse in Riverside, and there was a rally of 100,000 people that came to hear the President of the United States, Lyndon Johnson, and he told us that he was the candidate of peace, and that if we elected that senator from Arizona, then we would get war. And a year later, I organized at the same location the first anti-war demonstration in Riverside. So, and I come out of a family that has been involved in social movements actually for many generations. I had relatives that were abolitionists before the Civil War. One relative who died in the Confederate concentration camp at Andersonville because he was an officer in a Negro battalion. And my parents were both involved in the civil rights and the labor movements, as well as the struggles for peace over the years. And so maybe when I talk about this campaign, it sounds a little dry and a little removed and perhaps a little too historically objective. But that's the framework in which I think. And I think it's important, at least an understanding for me where I come from, approaching this election. I didn't start out as an Obama supporter. I started out like the first person who spoke as an Edwards supporter, and for exactly the same reasons, because of his expressed concern for social justice, his anti-corporate position, and also the fact that he had enough integrity to repudiate his wrong vote on endorsing the war. It would have been better if he had taken a firm position originally. But frankly, it wasn't a big, strong emotional bond, and so when Edwards dropped out, it wasn't real hard for me to say, okay, where do I go now? I knew where I was going at that point. I was going with the candidate who represented a lot of those same identifications with social movements and with peace that is always where I've been coming from myself. Frankly, I was skeptical about some of Obama's ties with corporations. Some of his backers are important corporate leaders. I happen to have a sister who lives near Obama in South Chicago, in the South Shore area, and I called her up and said, what's the story on this guy? Is he for real? And she said, yeah, he's for real. We've been watching him, and he's the real item. So at that point, it was very easy for me to say, okay, this is where my allegiance in this election is going to be. But it's an allegiance with eyes wide open. It's not something where you, certainly Obama is the most brilliant political leader, the most brilliant major party candidate that we have seen, I think, in my lifetime. And the Democrats have put forward some smart people. Hillary Clinton's a brilliant person, John Edwards, John Kerry, Al Gore, Bill Clinton, all very, very smart people. I think Barack Obama towers, not just physically, but intellectually over all of them. More than that, I think from a historical perspective, people who are my age, and especially a little bit older, there are some people like that in this room, I'll bet that every single one of you came into politics around the Kennedy election in 1960. And for people 2 generations previously, virtually everybody who was a Democrat came into politics around the Roosevelt election in 1932 and in 1936. And frankly, both of those candidates, in a lot of respects, were very flawed. They both started out as very conservative Democrats. We don't remember that today, but when Franklin Roosevelt was elected in 1932, nobody knew whether he was going to be like the previous Democratic candidate. I'll tell you why I'm in the campaign now. That's probably more important.
That's what we want to know.
It's because I have seen in those 2 crucial historical elections, they inspired entire generations of people to be involved in social change. And that is the significance of this election. And that's why it is important to get Obama elected, so that he can be a president like Franklin Roosevelt, like John Kennedy, that will lead to vast social movements that will transform this country. Thank you.
I know one thing that came through for me, the speaker before him said he wanted a president that was smarter than most of us. I felt that when Carl spoke.
Yeah.
It's good to have a local candidate. I've seen a lot of local
Yes.
candidates, and rarely are they smarter than most of us in this room. And that was refreshing to see a smart local candidate.
We can change the